Namaste and welcome to this exciting episode of Sattology, debunking mythology. Sattology means science of truth or study of truth. Opposite of that is mythology, which means science or study of fake, lie, or imagination. Believe me, now so many facts are coming out that there was a global recognition that everywhere else, Vedic culture in one way or the other was being practiced. And in my own research also, little bit with what I do, also I found out many more references in South America as well as Asia, Central Asia. And you will be surprised to know that more than 1,500 places of Vedic origin are still active in the Southeast Asia, including some parts of Mongolia, and which the Western world calls it shaman. And you must have watched our series yesterday on that, on focusing on Mongolia, Kyrgyzstan, and Kazakhstan, that how so many Mahabharata Ramayana references are there, but also there are more references coming out in the current cultures of those countries. And you must have also been shocked to know that how Mongolia, even today, supports the Vedic culture in their own country, even till date. And these are some parts of these countries are also now part of Russia. And so you can understand that a lot of Russian territories also this culture is being practiced. And gradually people are understanding that this was the original culture, and what the deformities happened in that culture during the last 2,000-3,000 years have actually caused more distress. I have a very special guest today. He has written a wonderful book, one of the best books you can read about the politics without taking any name. That's the beauty of that book. And I read that book, Deception, and it was amazing. And plus, he's the original author of the Hindu terror, which he disclosed. So let us welcome Sri RBS Mani.
Namaskar. I feel welcome.
So viewers can also watch a playlist by Maniji on our channel, which he has discussed many different aspects of spiritual life. In one of the shows, he has actually showed the entire Surya Namaskar also. So there is a dedicated playlist to him on this channel. So coming to now today's topic, so parampara system. So before we start, because most of the people have asked this question, I belong to a parampara, you belong to parampara. Parampara is existing and people are dedicated to their gurus. But one question comes in, that where is parampara when so many political things are happening? Why don't they speak up? This is one question comes up. Why don't they speak up? So people who do not know why they speak up, for them, this answer will be very good. Please answer that question.
Speaking of, first thing is parampara is nothing that we need to be demystifying what is this parampara before you try to either like or follow or hate. See, I have already, you can see in my sentence, Sanatana is the original order of the world. Sanatana means unending, without beginning, without end, and eternal. And Dharma is order. Order is as it existed. That is the reason you will find many of the postulates of physics, original postulates of science, whose origins can be traced to Sanatana Dharma, or the Rigvedic or the Vedic knowledge, the Rigveda being the oldest of them. So this is where the entire thing happened. That is the reason there is no wonder when my friend Aditya says that the Vedic culture is the evidence of existence of Vedic culture can be found in Northern Europe, or rather Northern Eurasia, or other places also. There is no doubt about it. Sanatana is the original. I have a small thing to attend. 1 minute. I'll just join in 1 minute. Please excuse me. That is indisputable, and that is the pradaya comes in. See, the practices. Practices means the pradaya, or what they call it as sampradaya. Sampradaya is the practice for positivity. That is also known as the how they will. See, the mother is the mother gives birth to the child, or it is something which is universal to the entire life system, whether it is the animal kingdom or whether the human kind or wherever it is. That is the way it has been happened. That is unending. That cannot be challenged. That also is a sampradaya. So, and from there, how the mother, whether it is the elephant or it is the protective arm of the mother to the child is always existent. Number one. Number two, apart from going ahead from that, the mother is the first guru. The mother is the first feeder, Annapurni. These are all irrespective of, you don't have to be coming to humankind, even outside the humankind also, even the animal kind, that is the fact of the matter. This is anthropology. This has got nothing to do with any parampara, but that is the practice, that is the established practice, and it is never been changed, notwithstanding the IVF and other modern techniques of reproduction in the plant genetics. This is the way it is. Now, coming to that, that is the reason there is no point in challenging it. It is what we have inherited. I take it, and this is what the Sanatana says. The 16 sanskaras of Sanatana Dharma, or whatever it is which we go through, including right from the Annaprasna, where you are defining, and thereafter the Pumsavana, Garbha Shimanta, then Annaprasna, then Punyavachana, Annaprasna, like that you go. Taking it from there, even the first lesson, Aksharabhyasa also, it is done from the mother's lap only, right on your ears. These are all paramparas. The Aksharabhyasa, they call it, at the age of 3, it is done to the child to make it is integrating the Shakti cult. The Shakti means the power, which, because mother is also the power, Matru Rupena Samstita, Yadevi Sarvabhuteshu Vat. Since the mother also is the Buddhi Rupena Samstita, Nidra Rupena, Matru Rupena Samstita. Buddhi she is giving, Vidya she is giving. And that is where the parampara has to come. And the first teacher, indisputably, not only in the mankind, but also in the other animal kingdom also, or wherever it is the mother. From there, the parampara starts. And that is the first thing, is to know the parampara. What are the parampara? Second thing is the converse of that. If I don't follow the parampara, what do I lose? Third thing is the logic of the parampara. It has to be actually disseminated in 3 ways. This time I am giving you an overview of parampara, but I will also take you to 20 Hindu practices sometime, maybe in 15 days time, and where I will explain why we light a lamp, or why we do this, or why we do that, etc., etc. That's a separate chapter. I will give you, or I will share the documents also with you. My father has written down the reasons for that and everything. That is the second part of it. But the question is, we have to obey it. And subsequently, when the man grew up after 3 years, the Gurukula starts, Guru Shishya Parampara starts. Guru Shishya Parampara is total, see, depending upon, because the writing materials, all those things. The beauty of Sanatana Dharma is, first is on the process of educating, process of education contains the knowledge sharing, contains the information sharing, and the capability to think and assess and judge. Not just simply, like nowadays what is happening is the rote learning or whatever it is. The logical, and so that is the way the education was being done. The Vedic education, Gurukulas and all. And also, they would be also, because it says Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So all 4, it used to prepare the individual for all 4 Purusharthas. Sakala Vida Purusharthas Karya Siddhyartyam. So it used to train, it was sort of a training under an apprenticeship. Same Gurukula concept, some people have modernized it and corrupted it to a mentorship concept nowadays in management universities and all, where you are to mentor and learn, but that is more, I'm told that it cannot be absolute replacement of Gurukula, Guru Shishya Parampara. But indeed, and there are, see, Upanishad says, it's a Upanishad says, Matra Devo Bhava. Who is your second Guru? Pitri Devo Bhya. Third is Guru Devo Bhya. Fourth is the person based on the hierarchy of Guru is Acharya Devo Bhya. Like you said, Jagat Guru Acharya, Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya. These people have really, they are akin to the concerned Lord. The Madhavacharya is akin to the Madhava himself. Shankaracharyasya Madhyamam. That means above him the Shankar, after Shankar, the middle path is Shankaracharya. Like that, in that parampara, Shankaracharya, Jagat Guru Shankaracharya parampara, Shankaracharya is there. And why they grow to the level? Because of their own meditative content, the Shraddha. One is the Shraddha, that is the commitment. One is the Tapasya and Sadhana. Shraddha, Sadhana, Seva. These three, see, if I do all the Shraddha, my commitment is fully, and if I also do the sadhana and acquire the powers, I have to do seva also. You must have seen most of the gurus, etc., are also involved in seva. What do they do with the seva? Dharma acharana. That is to continue the dharma, charana, to walk through the dharma, the path of dharma, path of righteousness, path of the orderly. Because if there is disorder in the world, Ganesha Namah.
Yeah. So there is another conception comes in that some large Hindu organizations also say, what have sampradayas achieved for India? For every single major social issue, they keep quiet. The major thing. This is also an attack on sampradaya, but at the same time, out of ignorance also.
See, what they have not achieved for India. What do you want them to achieve? Basically, as you have also said, the Vedic civilization or the Sanatana Dharma has also been very clear about it, that it is an order, which it is basically a chariot. See, Shankara is a chariot, the Madhava Krishna is a chariot. Lord Krishna says, Sambhavami Yuge Paritranaya Sadhuna Vinashaya Dushtita. Dharma, see, Dharma Sanstapatu, Dharma is order, Sanstapana, re-establish that. What does it say when Paritranaya Sadhunam? Means the systems and processes are under threat, or under challenge, not threat. I come myself to restore the order, restore the order. Am I correct? This is the way it has to be seen. If the Sampradaya, if there were challenges in the social order, we have to go to the diagnosis of the social order. It was a mischief, because ultimately in Aruna Prashna it says, Anyadya Shuklam, you cannot do anything which is not in the larger interest. Your intent has to be clean. Your basic intent has to be clean. If somebody was doing a mischief and if I am reacting to it, I am only adding fuel to his fire. And that is the reason the sampradaya, and it's aggregation of all the individual anyadaya shuklam, and that is the reason the leaders, yadyada charati shreshtada tadyadiyava janodara, those leaders would not get into it unless and until it was a challenge to the order. They there, because through their sadhana, see, sadhana also entitles them the divya drishti. That divya drishti, or whether it is Lord Madhavacharya, either is Acharya Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya, or Adi Shankaracharya, whomsoever it is, if they did not, the entire formers of why these acharyas came to re-establish the order, restore the order, or clean up the order, disorder, is basically for a purpose. And If Adi Shankara did not enter at challenges when the social order was there, that social order was not life-threatening social order, the order-threatening one. As simple as that, it was mischief of certain people, some misguided people. So let us be very clear, wherever they were required, they have always intervened. Wherever their necessity as contingent situations have arisen, they have not flinched from doing this. That is the parampara of this. And Guru Shishya parampara, that is the reason I said, even now, there are very little patashalas left in the world, but wherever they are there, anybody who has gone through the rigor of a patashala, the rigor of a patashala is more holistic than the academic rigor in a school or a college, university. I do not know whether, I think you have gone through the Gurukula system. Right?
Yes.
So Gurukula rigors are much more, and not only that, the rigor is not only holistic. I mean, you can face any situation in the world which a university graduate cannot. Notwithstanding, you can rise to any challenge. You can create. Brahmajagyanam Pradhamam Parastat Svidhimati. You can create. That is what Guru is giving you.
See, the modern education systems can give you degrees for employment. But degree of life is given by the sampradayas.
That is the reason I wanted to say that is the relevance of sampradayas. That is the relevance of sampradayas. It's a holistic, and not only it could be, for example, for all you know, if I have to go and live with in a gaushala and manage a gaushala, having been trained in modern universities, I may be a total misfit there. Okay, with my Shraddha Vishwasha Roop, so it is Shraddha and confidence and commitment. Maybe I overcome the challenges in a shorter period than a person who is more detached.
See, you yourself are an example of that. You're yourself an example of that. You have been a very successful civil officer in the Interior Ministry of India. And at the same time, you follow a tradition. And that makes you stand out from other people.
That is the reason. No, it is something which is practiced in my
personal life. Household, yes.
Household. My father practiced it. My grandfather practiced it. My maternal grandfather practiced it. So it is coming in, and that is the reason there are two very important things is parivara, family. That is very, very important. So nowadays with the disappearance of families or even shrinking of family life and the time for family and all, these type of knowledge systems are not getting transferred to the subsequent generation. My son does Sandhya Vandana 2 times a day. I also used to do 3 times, but now when I am at home, I do Madhyanika Sandhya also. But otherwise 2 times a day when I was working. So that I have passed on. But whether he passes on to his own next generation, we do not know. But that is how we have to see. We have the reason of Sandhya Vandana. I have explained it that the separate thing. That it is Sandhya Vandana.
Yeah, you can check out the playlist of on the playlist. You'll see one of the videos there.
Right. So similarly, some chanting. Why should we chant? Why evening and morning? Why light a lamp? All those things. This have come out from Sandhya Vandana and other chanting experiences. And these paramparas train you in that. And it is training, unconscious, subconscious training. See, it gets into your system. So that is the way, that is the difference between a road division educational level and a parampara or sampradayik or a Guru Shishya parampara educational institution, that it gets into your system. Call it samskara, subconscious, whatever it is, that certain things become a habit. At 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the evening, when there is when the twilight time in the evening of day, you are now go to your prayer room and do your meditation, whatever you are trained on. That becomes a habit. It becomes a habit for your life. And similarly, certain very, very simple habits, which the modern education keeps out of the curricula. And that is the reason that keeping out of these simple habits are kept, which are integral to a sampradaya or Guru Shishya parampara, but they are kept out in the modern education. And that is the reason you will find that there is a vacuum created there. And when there is a huge stress and all, boys go, or children or students go, they do smoking, they do drugs, they do drinking and all. See, because there is a vacuum there, they do not find succor. See, when the rigor goes on, when the rigor of learning is very, very severe, the competitions are severe, the strive to success is the, and incidentally, those who are taking more tension for success are less successful than those who are going through this Gurukula Parampara, because they are more well versed, they are more trained to accept challenges. You have become an entrepreneur, but you never took a stress.
Yeah.
You didn't take, say, if I fail, that stress was never there. But people who take huge loans, or maybe because of take money from their parents and go on to study or whatever it is, there is also a latent inherent stress in their back of the mind. What do they say? Like, if I fail, I cannot fail. So that drives the stress, and that drives you to several personality disorders. And that is where the paramparic system breaks. Paramparic system is also it's an insurance against failure, that you have a solid backup. That is one part of that should not lead people to complacency. But at the same time, it also de-stresses you. And that is very important. These are all, see, that keeps you away from several non-wanted things you get hooked into, like your drinking or your substance abuse and all. Am I correct? Most of the Gurukula, the paramparic institutions, or the product out of them, hardly indulge in these type of substances abuses, which has become very, very common in most of the modern societies in India. I travel to Chandigarh when the weather gets a little tough here, where the air quality gets tough here. Stay with my son, and there I found outside the Punjab University, there is a drug mall almost. Every second shop is selling drugs. That is the situation.
So, in recent times, you've seen the media attacking the Hindu sampradayas a lot. And then we don't see the direct attack from the people, because people follow it. But the media becomes an intermediary and starts questioning, like saints or other people, especially from the Hindu culture. They don't question saints from any other culture, but mostly from the Hindu sampradayas. And they present questions, the toughest questions are presented to Hindu gurus. And you don't see a similar level of questioning to any other religious.
I have faced such questions and I have answered them, and I will tell you, even including a rationalist once who was traveling in a flight with me. He would have another 1 hour of flight. It was only 2 hours and 20 minutes. He said, "Look, Dr. Mani, I would have spoken. I wish I had met you earlier. I would have changed my perception." Thereafter, we never met. So this I am confessing. So if you see the Hindu culture, Hindu sampradaya, whosoever is challenging it, please direct them to me. Whichever person is directing to you, I am working only on this. Please, I have taken on many of them, but more than that, I'm known more since wherever
you and I see, Ravi Maniji, we cannot be everywhere. So we have
that
to
is one. Number two is I am willing to train. There are some young children who have trained. One boy, I think you should read his book on Shiva. He's a boy who was in the
corporate. No, you and I have both written forward on it.
Right. Exactly. You also written a forward on it. So Anshul Pandey. I train him. I said, you face it. Day after tomorrow, again, he's coming to me for a few hours. I counsel him that now you have become you are writing on Shiva Purana, you are writing on Shiva. Please, next, how do you, when you will be challenged at many places, you are a youngster. So you have to be trained to take on the questions. I sit with him and
No, the question is like why do these attacks happen? Because you written a book, you analyzed it also, and there is a whole ecosystem of attack. But the media is just
there's
a
the
front.
economics. See, media system, there's the economics to it. See, I will give a very wrong parallel here, but it is very relevant here. The Pakistani terrorism is funded by drug 30%. 30% of Pakistan, this is as per the intelligence reports. I have pursued that, I have written about it in my books. Similarly, there are several vested interests, the profit chasing people. There are certain profit chasing people who are doing this for their economic benefits. So that is the reason they try to spread this type of myth, where I say, supposing yoga. Yoga is a sucker for many things. One is the preventive part of it, and one is the remedial part of it. There are two aspects of Hatha Yoga, and I am not taking you to the Bhakti Yoga and Siddha Yoga. I am just keeping it at the Iyengar level of Hatha Yoga only. There are two benefits of it. One is the preventive part of it. The preventive or the higher level of health. If that is the case, where do the health insurance companies and pharma companies and hospitals and huge health infrastructure goes? Am I correct? And now it is all commercialized. It's all treatment shops. I won't call it that, it's a service. Similarly, the remedial part also, the same logic. The Ayurveda remedies also, there are certain vested interests which are not able to. And to reinforce this fact, you saw the COVID, which was virus, which was developed, and now things are coming out in the public domain that, look, COVID was a lab-made virus which was spread. Earlier, all sorts of myths were again spread about it, but now slowly the things will come out, much more will get, because China is the largest manufacturer plant in the entire world. And since they would not be able to push a lot of economics of it, and their economy was not doing, and a lot of challenges internally they were saying, they decided to do this. The entire world did not know about it, but suffered. So these type of greedy person, incidentally, Chinese is also a very ancient civilization. I am very surprised that they went to their culture, but the communist culture of China, which is totally materialistic, they caused this to happen to prove a point to the about the Chinese supremacy over the world. And the world suffered, the economic suffered, so many people died. See, I am giving it a very simple point. Let us not get into the technicality of it. Sometimes we will keep it for a separate debate. We will keep it for a separate day, but since that is a large platform on which you have to see. Similarly, there are several, and everywhere there are the entire the hegemonous attitude of China is found in trying to, when American US speaker goes to Taiwan, they get agitated. They are trying to interfere into Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka went into a state of bankruptcy. Pakistan is already in a state of bankruptcy. So they are meddling, and India also, there is a lot of issues about China which has never settled. They are meddled into everybody's affairs. So, and they also meddled into everybody's it was basically a bio war, chemical war, which China did it. So similarly, the sampradaya has there been any study done? Okay, you are talking of virus. Virus is a sucker for. How many people who are regularly doing yoga for the last 17 or 15 or 20 years suffered from COVID? I have not come across anybody. Most of the people who suffered had a very poor immune system because they were having a sort of sedentary lifestyle. So I am just giving this. I have not done a study, or because I have not come across on a cursory random note that a person who has been doing yoga for several years, including, I mean, American US president supported, but Indian Prime Minister did not, because Indian Prime Minister does yoga. Indian Prime Minister at the age of 70, whatever, 72 or 71 or 72, works like this, that he can work for 18 hours a day. And the secret behind that is the yoga. I don't know how long he has been doing it. And yoga gives you that mental and the physical capacity, the immunity, the preventive, the immunity. Plus, should any challenge occur health-wise, this is one of the first benefit of that. I will take you to the Bhakti Yoga and Siddha Yoga at a later stage, but this is the Hatha Yoga part I am saying. And Hatha Yoga, by virtue of that, on a healthy mind, on a healthy body, it doesn't come like that. Hatha Yoga, you take it one step further, you take it to the Bhakti Yoga, your focus. What is Bhakti? Bhakti is the amount of sadhana, the commitment, your focus is so much. Bhakti could be not just in terms of in chasing of God, devotion. It could be also Shraddha. It could be commitment to your work.
My last book was Transcending the Mind, based on, I translated Patanjali Yoga Sutra into English language for Americans. So coming back to the topic which we have today, is that some Hindu sampradayas are being consistently attacked for every single reason by the media.
I'm giving you one reason. I used it as an illustration.
Yeah.
Where the vested interests are coming to attack this. And when they find the challenge cannot be met, then they own up the yoga by saying that some muscular, rhythmatic muscular movements or something like that. Yoga is much above that. It's a total integration of body, mind, and soul.
Yeah, I mean, yoga is a process. Is a vehicle which great yogis use to come out of the karma bandhan cycle. Very simple.
Exactly. It is much more than that. It is
much more than that.
Muscular.
Much more than that. So the people are understanding. Like in the West, I can see many of the yogis which I am connected to. They were started with Hatha Yoga, but they are into bhajan now. They are into kirtans. They are into another aspect of yoga, which is more related to bhakti. So there is a gradual transition.
That is the second stage. Ultimately, Siddha Yoga.
Yeah, Siddha, you arrange, like if you read Patanjali properly, like when I went through all the padas, 4 padas are there. All the pada, we actually see that how sadhana pad, samadhi pad, vibhuti pad, and then and the Kaivalya pad.
Pratipada.
Yeah. It takes you gradually. Ishwar Pranidhan. Ishwar Pranidhan is the ultimate goal. And it takes you from your normal life to directly at the feet of Ishwar. That's how they work. Patanjali works.
In Mangala Milan, we call it.
Yeah. But
Ramana Maharshi called it Mangala Milan.
Yeah. But today's topic, like today's world, we are seeing so many, I see a lot of attacks on the media. Like media, I won't take anybody's name, but we all know that how only specific Hindu gurus are targeted, whether by the West or by the Indians also. And one question is asked all the time, is that we have protected Hindu culture. Where were the sampradaya? And people do not understand. Like there are Hindu groups, large organizations. They say we have protected Hindu culture and the sampradayas were nowhere. And I had to tell them that most of your members come from those sampradaya. Their dedication is for Ram and Krishna, not for you, or Mahadev, not for you. So they are doing it to protect their culture. And for thousands of years, they have done it. Like during the time of Aurangzeb's attack, Swami Tulsidas protected the Indian culture through Tulsi Ramayana. And I was told, now I'm seeing his history. I was told that he read all the Veda, all the Purana, and then he read Valmiki, and then he included all those things inside Tulsi Ramayana. The first thing he composed was Hanuman Chalisa. The first thing that he composed was Hanuman Chalisa, and then he wrote the rest of the
Tulsi Ramayana
translation he did. So the thing is, these people have protected Sanatan culture. Whatever you see today, the spark of Sanatan culture is because of these people. In 2014 also, when you know very well how Sonia Gandhi had attacked from all sides the Hindu culture. But these paramparas were continuing without speaking anything. They were continuing under this.
Perfectly, perfectly right. Perfectly right.
Yeah. So now, when the government is very favorable to them in every way, still these attacks are continuing. Why these attacks are continuing, or what can be done? Sampradayas will
Because
never oppose. Also, they will keep quiet.
that is also one of the reasons. The sampradaya, as I said, is anyadya shuklam yadashaktita evam vidhyaya dharmena aranye adayi. The reason is that they are doing it for the dharma, evam vidhyaya dharmena, with clean intention and as per the existing law in force.
Correct.
And they are not into any marketing or competitive. Your shirt is whiter than my shirt or something like that. They are doing what they are ordained to, and that is what they are doing it. See, after your, as you said, Ishvara Pada, do you have to, that is itself is a self-satisfying, that is the ultimate achievement. Do you require anybody to come and tell you come and say, oh, Aditya is Ishvara Pada? No. You yourself have realized yourself. That is the problem. That is the issue with most of the sampradayas. That most of the people at the higher level in the sampradayas are already coming very close to the realization part. And that's a very, very important thing that need to be addressed. So that is the reason they would not market. And those who are marketing are actually the real fringe who do not know anything. See, the very fact that when they say Hindu sampradaya, I'm saying they have lost it. It is Sanatana Dharma, which is Hindu was something given by a foreign entity. The name was given. I don't know, Sapta Sindhu or Hindu or India. There are several theories of that. But the Sanatana Sampradaya, the Vedic civilization, was given, was not, it's much larger than the Hindu Sampradaya, which they are talking about. And that is the reason those who are claiming, whether it is X, Y, Z, whatever name you are taking, or those who are provoking the media has a vested interest in this. They could be in hand in glove, because as you said, the more and more research it is happening, it is getting established that Sanatana Dharma was the original order of the universe, which is eternal. Whether it is the Latin American countries, whether it is South African, South Asian countries, Southeast Asian countries, or whether it is the Central Europe or wherever it is, the evidences are coming out because now we have better research tools, more than research tools which are acceptable to the people as a popular scientific method. Tools were there then also, but it really required a year, but now it is acceptable. It is enabled to be disseminated in a simple, understandable format, and that is the reason you have more and more evidences coming out. But the imprint or footprints had been left even, I mean, tens and thousands of years ago. So that is the way it is. So what do you do with it? Why do we get agitated? Because the people at the higher level of realization are not going to, let us be very clear, not going to stand up and come in a TV debate and attack somebody like they did it. And that is one advantage both the media and these people who are claiming credit for that are using to their advantages and challenging that these sampradayas did not take, because what the modern day is a day of PR work. That PR they are not doing, and that is one of the basic issues of the problem. Am I correct?
Yes. See, also people don't realize that most of the political leaders today, or the army leaders, or the people who they are coming from the paramparas, the people who are defending or people who are fighting, they are all from parampara. Because without parampara Shakti, nobody has the Shakti. Those are the people still defending also. So just to saying that, and most of these Hindu organizations, the active leaders are the ones who are from the parampara. And
right,
most of the active leaders over there from parampara. So saying that they are not defending, why are they not speaking? They are speaking. Just that they are part of different organizations. They are not connected to because Sampradaya is not an organization, it's a tradition coming from Brahma, from Vishnu.
Exactly.
From there it is coming.
Generations to generations. We do not anadi. Again, it is anadi. The day Dharma started, the Sampradaya started. It's a part of the Dharma. It's concurrent with Dharma.
Now, Krishna also says Bhagavad Gita, evam parampara praptam imam rajashiyo vidu. Se karanimeta. So he comes when the time is right to revive it again. Now, one last question on this series, this discussion is that, see, if you look at the West and other countries where the politicians actively support their culture, whether right or wrong. So even the great states, United States, where I live, they support their churches with all the might of the state and with all the intelligence, and their agencies they support. They may be independent of the church, but they do support their culture. And we see that happening in Europe. Europe, they have given small piece of land to Vatican to control their church, to propagate their religion. We don't see that happening in the name of secularism in India. In India, the culture which is loved by majority of people of the world, not just India, majority of the people of the world. If you look at America also, 70% of the people will say they would love the culture of India. They will tell, 70% of people will say. Nobody has opposition to India and the culture. But we don't see that happening from the home of Sanatan Dharma. So what do you have to say on that?
I'll tell you one thing. We see so many things, so many myths have been spread about Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is the original, that is the mother of all, that existed at Mother Earth. We know that Vasu is mother. Vasu is mother. Mother is earth. The Lord of Earth is Vasudeva. So that is the way. So it all travel Bhudevi. Sanatana is like that. It is. Can anybody say when did the Earth come into existence? The day the Earth came into, Sanatana has been working on that. Sanatana has been working on Rudra. Has been working on when the day the sun came into existence. So anybody who is going to superimpose his own belief, whether it is a church or a Islamic or a whatever Abrahamic or non-Abrahamic or whatever it is belief, they are living in a myth, and those people are able to market it better. We do not. There is no concept of marketing. You remove the churches, you remove all other Abrahamic religion. What is left is Sanatana. Even their own, they are only, it's a virgin land on which these people are superimposing. So that is the reason the concept of missionary zeal or whatever which they call it has never there in the Sanatana Dharma. Because we are the base, we are the original, nothing. Everybody is superimposing. I am the owner of the house and everybody is coming and giving his own culture. That is the way it is. So they need to promote themselves. I do not need. It is as exists because my prayers are for the nature, how it works. Vanchate parivanchate rohitaya stapatve ukshanam pate namo nama mantrine vanijaya kakshanam pate then bhavante vayuna aushadinam pate everything from the nature and everything as the ordained. Order and the ordained. So that is the way I am working like that. So it is pre-existence to humanity, it is pre-existence to everything. Shankaroti ti Shankara. So that is why Sanatana is very clear that there is no need for marketing. If some people are saying like that, if the media is that, they are living in a fool's paradise. I'm very sorry to say the word, because they are ignorant. What I mean to say is, the Sampradaya and the irony of Sanatana Dharma, unlike the other religion, is it is Mahadeva, Aham and Moha se upar utna. You have to get about the vices of ego and greed, you become Mahadeva. Whereas in that, the more and more you get realization, they start become more and more egoist. You can see any of the churches, they think they are next to God, but our own Gurudevas, whether it is a Madhavacharya, they do not think themselves or as a thing, they are saying it is They did not even say even prophet was an agent of God, Allah. But for us, that is not like that. Everybody is Aham Brahmosmi. Aham Brahmosmi, Tattvamasi. You are also a person, God. I am also God. I am God. You are also God. So that is the basic difference. And that is the reason the ego doesn't come on a realized Sanatana Dharmi, whether who has gone through who has reached the Ishvara Pada stage or even few stages below that. And that is what these people are not able to comprehend. There is a problem of comprehension. There is a problem of vision. It cannot be disputed. See, as you said, Tulsidas read the Vedas and thereafter read the Ramayana and thereafter translated it into, or rather created a Tulsi Ramayana. That by that time he had realized he has realized the level, he has raised himself to the level of Ishvarapada. But other religions, even their own practitioners or their own leaders, do not take you to that path. They become egoistic, centric, greedy, or maybe want people to come and salute them or self-aggrandizing people. I'm not commenting on any particular religion and start giving sermons and all that. What does a person will say? Ishvaro Rakshatu, Dharmo Rakshati Rakshata, not more than that. Aham Brahmosmi, like that. But there it is, you do like this, you vary 4 times or whatever will be the sermon, there are hardly any. Dharma Shastras are there, they are codified. That's a different matter, follow that. Aham Ekavishe Vishnu Anvetu is the first promise. So Vishnu means it is for the sustenance of the generation. Vishnu is there. So Ekavishe, we are one unto themselves, husband and wife are one unto themselves. Swacha Urja Vishnu Anvetu, I am the process, you are the Shakti, you are the power. You tell the wife. Vishnu, for what you are the power? Vishnu Anvetu. So for sustaining the world, to carry the entire universe forward. Like that, even the Dharma Shastras are codified with this type of a meaning. And that realization, you don't require any, you never find anybody coming out and defending it as it is a self-defensive mechanism. If they go beyond a point, most of the other religionists or the media people, whenever they go beyond a point, they shoot themselves in their foot. Am I correct? And expose themselves in few months.
See, the Dharma is like a science, Vigyan. The more you taste it, experience it, the more you learn it. And very simple process there, like in every single culture is the chanting of Ram and Krishna names. Like Ram, Krishna, you just chant the names, and Mahadev, whatever you like. And then you start seeing the results after that. Ganesh, like you say, Om Ganeshaya Namah. You start with that, and then you see the results after that. It's very simple process, very simple. It's not very, you don't have to. So people often get confused. The Jnanam, when they have knowledge, then they will practice. That is impossible. Knowledge is a byproduct of seva, not the reverse way, So if you join a proper, there's so many gurus nowadays famous there who are genuine, and you can start with there. So one last comment from you, Maniji, for this show is that when we see the Supreme Court and other courts, and also the laws like the SC laws in India, which are used specifically against Hindus for anything. So how do those laws and the court system of India affect people from not joining or connecting with these sampradayas?
See, there is a Supreme Court or whatever it is, they are doing it because of their limited perception. That's the reason whenever these type of challenges come, I quote a particular from the Vedas that it is known as apratiratam. It comes like Ashushi Shano, Gana, Charchana Chop. Apratiratam. Prati means anti. Ratam. Our Sanatana Dharma is a chariot. As you said, it's a car, it's a chariot. Prati is the frictions and inertias to the chariot. Aprati Ratham is that. So the Supreme Court and all are not well educated in the Vedic or Sanatana culture texts. But again, ego, the amount of stature given to them is such high, and the amount of powers is unrivaled power given to them. And that is the reason they are negating the very Mahadeva concept of Sanatana Dharma. Rise above the. So that is what, whether it is Supreme Court, even why Supreme Court, even the journalists in India, you must have come across. There are many journalists. I personally have faced them. I said, do you see this established recently in one lit fest in Surat? I faced one gentleman. And he is supposed to be a very renowned expert on Hindu causes. But somehow none of them ever satisfied me. So this is the realization. It has become an oxymoron. That if you are trying to restore the way, see, why is judiciary or a modern institution, they have been superimposed by the British. This thing earlier, Nyayapalika, you go and read Dr. Nyaya Darshana of Gautama, that is giving a much better, that is the reason I have been also striving in a different plane for bringing in constitutional amendment, and it should be akin to Nyaya Darshana. Am I correct? So I've done a review of the book written by Dr. Bhakti. I do not know, but that is where is the beauty of Nyaya Darshana. So we need that type of a legal architecture to be integrated with it should be adapted and integrated with the modern requirements. That is what I wanted to say. Otherwise, they will continue to be brazening out. The media will continue to spread ignorance. Supreme Court will continue to make ignorance decisions, and that is where we will be stuck. Notwithstanding that, it won't ultimately challenge the Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is going to survive. And it will survive whether the Hindu organization claim rights or they disown them, whether the other attacks happen or not. But it will continue to survive because ultimately it comes Paritranaya Sadhuna Vinashaya Diskuta Dharma Santapanachaya. And it is also got a rhyme cycle. Atanmanebhya Pratidanya, it's sort of optimization. And when they come to an optimum limit, when the adharma reaches an optimum limit, something will happen and the process will retreat back to the original dharma limit. That is how it is. Chakravat Parivartante Dukani Dukani. That is the way. Ganeshaya.
Ganeshaya. Thank you so much, RBS Mani. As usual, you brought some clarity to some people, and my conclusion is very much that sampradayas are working, and they are the ones who are producing leaders today.
Right.
So you may see that they may not be responding to everything directly, but that is your job, not their job. So please like, share, subscribe, and let others know about this content. Namaste.
Namaste. Ganeshaya. Ganeshaya.